I believe culture should be viewed and comprehended on a personal level, and nothing is more personal than a relationship. Like this one. Brandon and I met in a record shop in Saigon where we found ourselves looking for a Sam album. We got acquainted, became friends, and before we even realized, we formed a relationship. Brandon's from Florida, but he has a very neutral American accent, which I like. It sounds crystal clear when he talks. Also, he loves cooking. 2 or 3 times a week, he cooks us something. It was a Sunday morning, and he was tied up with making an apple pie in the kitchen. I thought it was rather lovely, so I took out a camera and started filming him. At one point, he looked up and recognized the presence of the camera. "What you doing?" he asked. "Making a documentary of your famous apple pie." To which I replied, faintly, a trace of smile played across his lips. Then he explained to me how his mother used to make apple pie for his siblings and him several times as a child. And she also taught him how to make it. Well, you know what they say, as American as apple pie. He ended his story. "I don't like cooking, and my mother gave up on teaching me how to cook," I told him. "I know." He busts out laughing. "You also don't like Western desserts that much, but always eat up when I bake. Let me do the cooking then. We both love Vietnamese dishes. Cơm, phở, bún chả. I'll learn them all. You just have to eat them up when I cook." We have a wooden swing placed on the terrace, and often we sit on the swing and just relax together. Every now and then I play the ukulele while he's sitting there and listening. I would usually play some random Viet indie songs from different bands, and he, although cannot fathom the lyrics, claims that he loves the sound and harmony. After that, I'll play his favorite. He especially loves Elvis Presley music. Well, who doesn't? Can't Help Falling in Love with You sounds great on a ukulele. And of course, some Bob Dylan songs. We both like that guy. We always try to listen. We always try to care for each other. We just went home from shopping. Straight away, right after Brandon walked through the door, I told him to take his shoes off, because I knew he almost always forgot to do that. "I told you already. It is not a big deal," he sighed. "Not a big deal, you said? You increase my anxiety level just by wearing shoes in the house. I was not raised that way," I said, rolling my eyes. "I don't get it. Where it came from is totally normal. So long as you wipe your shoes on the carpet before you walk in the house, you're fine," he argued. "No, it is not fine. The house is a place where you live in, eating and resting. You treat it with consideration and respect by not wearing shoes in the house," I reasoned, intended to end the discussion. Fine. I still don't get it, but alright. If it means that much to you, I'll do it you said." He gave in, taking off his shoes. "Hi, pretty. I got this one fresh right from the garden for you. 'Cause I love you. Bren came in my workspace, bent over my desk, and gave me a rose all of a sudden. Oh, well, now that's spontaneous. I was a bit taken aback, but then again I remember how much of a spur-of-the-moment type he was. It's nice. Thanks, babe. Now would be the perfect time for you to say I love you back. He stared at me, waited. I don't have to. You already know. To which I replied, I know it sounded so bad, but I'm just not used to this kind of thing. It's cringy. Then he started sulking. You never say you love me. I did, last year, on your birthday. I answered quickly. Yeah, right. You wrote it on a birthday card. Now that's real touching. Today I want to hear you say it. I mean it, he insisted. Even though it was rather funny the way he insisted upon such matter, I found myself feeling awkward. I don't express my feelings that often. In fact, my family doesn't. We just don't say I love you to each other. We know how we feel. There's no reason to say it out loud just to be embarrassed. Also, I suppose you say it too often, it becomes meaningless. Still, Brennan, considering where he comes from, obviously has very different idea. And I kinda didn't want to disappoint him. So in the end, I was the one who gave in and told him I loved him. We always try to accept each other, despite differences. Ken, are you happy? He asked me that while we were reading books on the couch. Upon hearing the questions, I paused for a moment, shifting my eyes from the book, looking at him, slightly bewildered. I'm not so sure. Why? Just a thought. Don't you feel happy? He asked, maintaining eye contact. It's a broad and complicated concept, you know. I don't even know if it actually exists. To my mother, it is marriage and motherhood that define her happiness. I guess if I asked any other woman in my fam, the answer wouldn't change. But I think even the very idea has been manipulated, and my mother and all these women don't know better. I'm sorry if I sound cynical. I try to give my best explanations. Don't be. You've given thoughts about it. But the thing is, right now I am happy. He said, softly smiled. Really? I guess I doubted him for a second. And why is that? As Americans, we value liberality, and happiness is just freedom from fear. With you, I feel like I can't be myself. With you, I am free and unafraid. Therefore, I am happy. I didn't even realize, but I was staring at him for one brief moment. I thought I could grasp what he said and how he felt. Our ways of life may be different, but our feelings are just the same. Culture is in us. Learn a culture the way you learn a person.